Your identity can't be even in your family or your spouse, because you could lose your family and lose your spouse, and then what do you do? You know what I mean? So your identity has to be in Christ first and foremost. I believe, but yeah, it's challenging. I think that though there's a maybe too heavy of an emphasis on the amount of money you make, because really it's the amount of money you keep, because you could be making 200, $300,000 a year, but it doesn't mean you're keeping that, or are solvent, or that aren't broke. I mean, because the tendency is typically when you make more money, you make more bills. You know what I mean? So
Be more problems.
yeah, more money, more problems, like Biggie said. So
Yeah. So if you're single and that's what you're looking for, and if that's your main focus, are you really ready to be married? Are you really ready to be a wife? Because that means that your identity as well is just strictly tied to money, you know?
yeah,
Because what happens to it? What happens to men when they feel, for lack of a better word, useless if they can't provide financially? Doesn't that doesn't that also say speak to, well, how the wife, how your partner is going to deal with that
mhm.
type of, doesn't that all play a part what type of wife you have?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share this. So I probably have lost at least three jobs in my career. I've been, in banking uh, about 27 years or so now. And, so at least three times, someone, maybe you'll get an HR person in the room and they're like, yeah, we're downsizing. We no longer need your services, or whatever the case may be. And so what happens when, you go through something like that? I'll say back in 2021, I lost a job, and, I was just kind of like, distraught, because you're thinking like, man, I got a family, I got to, do all of this stuff. Like just had a baby, you know what I mean? And all of that. And, one thing that helped me out a lot is that my wife was like, we're going to be okay, and I believe in you, and I know you, are about your business and everything, and you're gonna find, another job, and I got you. You know what I mean? And that meant the world, because I think that a lot of women, you can't just look at what you are going to get when you get married. You also have to look at what you bring to the table. And, one of the biggest things is my wife is a helpmeet, or she's a helper.